When you create great content and nobody converts from it, it's one of the most frustrating things that you can possibly encounter with stuff on your site. The problem is often not the content, it's the timing. And you have to take into consideration the top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of the funnel. All buyers move through a predictable journey. Starts with problem awareness, then solution research, and then ends with a vendor decision for where they will actually make their purchase. Misalignment in your content is often something that can just put people off. So trying to educate too late or trying to sell too early can put people off in their journey. You need to understand their intent and need to understand why they are on your page, and then shape your content around that. So let's just have a look at the three first of all. So looking at the top of the funnel, that's where people really just try to find out what their problem really is all about. They want to be educated, they want to be guided a little bit. So start there with informative blog content. Put together a couple of how-to guides. That is where social media also comes in, where you can really explain a problem and you can tell people how to uh, look at the problem, exactly like I'm doing in this video. Then as people move a little bit down the funnel, when they get to the middle of the funnel, they start having a look at a few other things. They start comparing. They start looking at potential solutions. And that is where you need to bring in some comparisons. If you have a couple of case studies or reviews that are positive, definitely share those types of information. Build that into a piece of content on your site. That will be brilliant for middle of the funnel content. Then when you get to the bottom of the funnel, that's where people just want to take that next step. So convince them with uh, the product features, with the price, with ROI calculators, if that is applicable. And one of the most valuable ones, mentioned a little earlier, is testimonials. If you've got positive responses to the type of work that you do or the type of services or products that you offer, share that. That is one of the best ways to actually convert somebody to a customer. Match your buying intent to somebody based on where they are in the journey. Think a little bit about how you would look at a product or service that you're offering and the steps that you might be going through. Make sure that when you are providing useful information, don't try and sell to somebody. They're going to be annoyed by it and probably just leave and go somewhere else. And when somebody is ready to buy, don't try and throw all of the information that you've got available about that product at them. Make it as easy as possible for them to make the purchase or to fill out a form to get in contact with you so that they can look at your services at least. The call to actions and the messaging just changes completely when you have a look at the different parts of this journey. So, for example, when you're at the top of the funnel and you see a blog post, you might read through the blog post, but you might have a few more questions. So, internal links to related articles might be the best way to go. Then somebody can read more, or you can direct them to your social channels where you are covering something in a little bit more detail. So they can learn more and more about their issue, learn more and more about potential solutions. And once they've educated themselves, they are ready to move on to the next stage. If you have a look at that and the type of content that you've got there, where you just guide them from one piece of informative content to another versus the bottom of the funnel, it is like day and night. When you get to the bottom of the funnel, you might have some extra information lower down on a page. But on a product page or a page where you want somebody to buy a service, you're going to be very short and to the point. But you have the main features or the main benefits listed. Then you have a very clear call to action. You have a buy now button or a sign up for the service or sign up for our newsletter or whatever you want that action to be. You have very prominent and very clear for somebody to use. Where some content marketing strategies actually fall flat is they only concentrate on one part of this whole journey. Some teams go absolutely crazy on the top of funnel stuff and they try and answer absolutely every question without ever thinking about getting people further down the funnel and getting them towards the purchase side of it. Or others just focus on the bottom of the funnel without doing any education. So you might get some sales from that. The problem is you wouldn't have built up any trust with potential customers. Customers see you as the one offering useful information and offering guidance when they're trying to make a purchase. That is exceptionally valuable. And when you then take that information that you've shared and you guide them towards your products, your collections of products, your collections of services, then they are more likely to take uh, it as being the right solution to their problem. Overall, it is actually fairly simple when you have a look at the framework. So, top of funnel is where you educate. Middle of the funnel is where you help people to consider a brand or consider a service. And bottom of the funnel, have them convert. If you take the right message at the right moment, that results in better conversions.